Welcome to the Centercourt Weekly Show with Frank Wolf and Chad Andrews, produced by Tim Gardner. Sponsored by Tony Pulvereni and Empire Electric. Thank you very much. We are knee-deep in playoff basketball. We've had some big teams go down, teams that we thought for sure were heading deep are home. Teams that we may not have expected to get here. There's at least one, maybe two, in position right now to make history for their school. Upset alert. This is why March is the greatest month of all 12.
And I've seen the two best games I've seen all season happen in the same week.
That's crazy.
Knee deep for sure.
Kyle Husband, can you retire a coach's jersey? How do you do that? Because if I'm Canisius, my first home game next year, I am raising that sweater he wears to every game. Just raise that sweater he wears to
a random husband vest we're going to raise.
Do it.
I think you do like the Jim Boeheim model and you name the court after him or something while he's still there.
I think you do it first game next year. He's done enough. Enough's enough. Canisius, step it up. Some donors step up and make it happen because he's incredible.
He almost didn't get there. Lancers almost took it from him in the semifinals.
They did. What was the better game overall? I'm talking overall fundamental basketball. Was the St. Mary's a better game than the Joe's game?
No.
Okay.
No, I think the Joe's game was better.
Okay.
I mean, they're both good. The Joe's game was a championship game. It was lead changes back and forth. The crowd was absurd.
Did Canisius
student sections were epic.
They were. They raised their game. Canisius have what was the biggest lead? Was it 11 points in the first quarter at one time? Maybe the second quarter, but they had a double-digit lead at one time. On Joe's.
Did they?
Yeah, that was Saturday.
It was Monday.
It was a Monday. It's a day in
I would have
to
harken back into my deep memory bank for that.
They had
those early quarters fade when you get a game that finishes.
Joe's looked awful in the first quarter. And that's not because they're awful. It's because Canisius played lights out in that first quarter.
I do recall Canisius leading early in the game, getting off to the better start and making Joe's play from behind a little bit. But then Joe's rallies back, takes the lead.
Took the lead in the fourth, too.
Absolutely. Back and forth they go. So Canisius, man basketball team, they throw a 2-3 at Joe's in the fourth quarter. That was a big difference in the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you could point to some other factors too, but that
made them shoot.
That change, and even with that, Joe's took a lead. There was a goaltending call in the fourth quarter that seemed like that could be where the game was about to turn, and it didn't. Canisius stays very grounded. You get Jack Cullinan scores 8 of his points in the fourth quarter, and just shows up in that key moment.
That dipsy-do turnaround, flip the ball up. That was,
what else we got?
Changed.
Elijah Jones was tremendous in that game throughout. Darnell Gallimore, I don't think he had a dunk all season. He gets loose on a break, and he goes up and puts it down for Canisius. That was a big moment. I don't think the Canisius staff was expecting Gallimore to go up and finish at the rim.
Yeah.
But he did.
Signature moment.
Absolutely.
The crowd was incredible, and kudos to the Monsignor Martins all around. You weren't around for the hockey, but the best of 3 that they did for the playoffs was sensational. We'll talk about that another time. Manhattan Club.
When do we get a shot at that?
Yeah,
I don't mind seeing our Manhattan Cup go best of 3.
No. Timing plays a factor for sure there, but maybe they wrap up their season a little bit earlier and allow for that maybe for the semifinals or the finals. Either way, they have to get ready for this weekend. So maybe
They
that
do.
plays
And-
a little
and
bit
you know what?
factor.
And
If you want them to
I
beat
can
them up,
almost take it back. The Manhattan Cup, that one and done.
Yeah.
It's such a special night. I don't know if I needed to.
to prolong that.
Um,
The Nichols Joe's
the
game
moment
was
when
good, too.
the hockey
Yeah.
the hockey kids arrive at the Manhattan Cup in game, game's in progress, and all of a sudden they come sprinting by us at press row, holding their trophy, and the blue crew
Yeah.
welcomes them.
The starting goaltender for Canisius had a what was it that morning or that afternoon? He went in. He didn't. He went to the hospital. They thought he was having appendicitis. So they had to bring a backup goalie in.
Might have just been like a little indigestion from an unwise late night mighty taco decision.
Something.
But
anyways, it was an incredible weekend, ending Monday night for Canisius. They dominated. I wouldn't say dominated.
I wouldn't
throughout.
say it either.
I wouldn't say dominated. When you look at it, winning 2 championships on the same night, that's what you would consider domination. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
So Canisius is now back-to-back Manhattan Cup champ, and they got 4 really good juniors.
Kudos to Pete Schneider for moving that game to the 8:00 spot.
Yeah, for whatever the reason actually was, it made a lot of sense because
100% was.
so they had that game scheduled for 6, which I don't agree with, and no one cares what I agree with. So I'm not thinking that someone will tell Pete I said this and he'll care.
I'll tell Pete.
But
you know why he does that?
Well, there's the B game that has to be played too,
Has
and
to
to
be
play the B game after the Manhattan Cup, it worked out so much better on Monday night because you were allowed to let the winning team, in this case Canisius, have their moment. And you take that away from them a little bit when it's, okay, you just won the championship. Everybody get off the court. We got another game to play. Clear the court. Right, hurry up. Let's get your picture out in the hall. Don't do that to a winning team. That's such a special night, right? You're making that much gate. You're bringing that much buzz. Let it be what it is, and don't try to take anything off of that B game. The B game is viewed however it is by people, maybe including myself. But the playoffs are set up as such. Timon and O'Hara play. I was glad that they got to play that game before because it allows the crowd to come in and fill in around that game. It gives them a little bit of atmosphere to play under.
Gives them exposure.
And then you've got a main event that comes after. To have a main event before that B game just doesn't work for me. It's like saying, let's play the varsity at 6, and then we'll bring in the junior varsity at 7:45.
It's like we're going to put the Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield on at 8:00, and we're going to put the undercard on at 11.
So I was glad that flipped. I was glad that the hockey got moved early and that moment. I mean, what a night. What a night at the Kessler Center.
Dangerous situation again at the end, though, with the fans, kids, the student sections coming on the court. Rightfully, cheer. I think they got to stop at Centercourt. I think, people are going to call me the P word for this, and that's fine. Go ahead. But you don't want I think in the early 90s when we're in school, 80s, 90s, if the other student section would have came at us, that wouldn't have worked.
So let's give credit to the kids for not turning into a bare knuckles brawl. I mean, they're rivals, and they do it to each other, right?
Could have got ugly.
It could, but it didn't, and that's maybe something that you got to think about too. Is that these rivals understand that we're rivals. We're also friends, largely outside of school. Whatever. It's when we get our moment, we're gonna say we won. Yeah. We won.
You don't want the moment
and
taken
you're going
away
to have to
from,
take it, right?
You don't want the moment taken away from you or the underclassmen coming up behind you. And I think had
for sure
it gone the other way, that moment could have easily been taken away from future classes.
Yeah, I mean the student sections, as epic as they are, they go back and forth with each other, some spirited chants and whatnot, and
they're funny.
They're
a riot.
Funny. They're awesome.
and they're part of the experience. And I love every minute of listening to them. I think it's hilarious. I just think it gets a little nutty at the end. Stop at midcourt, maybe. Celebrate all you want. Give it to them. Give it to either side.
I've been to a lot of Manhattan Cups. I haven't always seen it get quite that we did it, know. And I think it had to do with we beat you in hockey earlier, we beat you tonight.
Yeah, for
sure.
It
was very much a Let me come right in
I
front
just
of you and remind
wanna-
you we just did it.
Yeah.
It's usually more of just a celebration, a surround the team, a celebration in the middle of the court, and everyone's dancing and jumping, like you would typically see when the crowd
Yeah.
storms the court.
You could-
This one was a little more personal, so again, props to the St. Joe's kids for, taking their lumps. Not
There's always next year.
and to the Canisius kids for taunting just enough and then pulling back, I guess, whatever.
St. Joe's, you got lacrosse and track.
Right on.
Okay, let's
So the
move on.
Manhattan Cup delivers. Timon wins over O'Hara. They move on to
Yes.
play Cathedral Prep in a Class B state championship.
ECC,
the
12
Catholic
o'clock?
High School Athletic Association. ECC 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
And then at 3 o'clock, Canisius advances to the state championship game hosted by us for first time in a while. We'll host them both games like that. With first time getting a bye without having to play the semifinal first.
Okay.
And so we get Holy Trinity.
Yeah, we'll have those games on WNY Athletics for YouTube. Please subscribe to that YouTube channel so we can keep these free for you. We're at somewhere around 8,100.
Yeah, you know how
subscribers
many
on that?
text messages I get about this stuff? Is Western New York Athletic streaming this game, that game? So it's a great, not really
We're
familiar
there.
with all the YouTube and the subscribe, but if subscriptions are something you need, then people should be
It's free to
subscribing because
subscribe.
you are making these games free. I'm bringing you state championships.
It's
All
free
you
to
gotta do is
subscribe.
Pull up YouTube.
It's free to subscribe.
Right.
When we get
Makes
to
sense.
10,000, I think we can monetize it, not charge people, but YouTube actually pays us. And that would help because these things are expensive. When
How
you add
close
them
are you
up.
now?
I think we're like less than 2,000 away.
You might
So
be. You'll be like $19.99 after I subscribe.
I hope so.
I'm on it tonight.
Just it's free.
You haven't subscribed yet?
I just said I'm not. Listen, you haven't figured out. Like I just
just
joined.
started Instagram, bro.
Yeah, I just joined Instagram a week ago. I don't like all this stuff. I just want to watch basketball. But
I wanted to get your thoughts though, also on the Nichols Joe's game because that was a really good game. That was Saturday, heading into Monday. I thought that was a good game too.
the Nichols
expecting
Joe's
less.
game, that was a good game.
Yeah.
My thoughts on it were St. Joe's deserved to win that game. I thought that they were the better team,
Yeah.
kind of throughout.
Went down to the wire.
It did. It went down to the wire, but it went down to the wire with Nichols rallying
Needing a
late and
bucket.
making it really interesting. It was
Yeah.
Joe's built a good lead and held on.
Did they not tie it up with like under a minute to go?
Man.
I thought Joe's
Taking
surrendered
back
the
to
lead
Saturday
late.
night. It's
I know,
Thursday.
it's a haze.
It's been a lot of basketball.
Either way,
a
it
little
came
sleep.
down to Nichols having the final possession and Joe's defense stepping up. I think it was a tough inbound pass, and I want to say it was Paul Free at the end of it. Just didn't have a clean look at the bucket. He had to do some
So the last play
acrobatics
was.
to get there.
I think what they drew up was Palfrey got the ball in the lane, and he went up, and there was a baseline cutter, and Palfrey had the option to drop the pass, take the shot. Pass was there. It got broken up.
From my vantage point, he was well guarded, as he should have been. You would have need. Yeah. It was a tough play for anybody, but he was fantastic.
Sure.
Fantastic.
And I don't like to, when it's a basketball game that's played for 32 minutes, it's tough to ever get down to that one situation and second guess the one. Like, people have done it forever about Seattle and New England in the Super Bowl when Seattle opts to pass and instead of handoff. And they're sure that Marshawn Lynch scores.
Yeah.
So it's a done deal, and it's not. Tom Brady's the GOAT, and they won the Super Bowl, and that's that. And you can't over second guess that play because there was a 14-point comeback that happened. And conversely, with this game with Joe's and Nichols, Joe's got this big lead. So if Nichols doesn't allow that, it doesn't come down to that last play. We can't, you can't second guess missed free throws at the end of a game or that one play. Take the 32 minutes.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, and not to stay on this, but they drew up a play designed for the best player on their team, and St. Joe's was going to say, hey, anybody but this guy was going to beat us. And that's how it ended.
Mm-hmm.
The defense was – they drew up the right defensive play, and Pelfrey didn't get a good look at the bucket. Game over. I think that's what it came down to in my eyes. But anyways, I digress. So that's the Manhattan Cup. We're going to have 2 more games here this Sunday. You can watch. You can go down to ECC, get a ticket, and watch, or you could watch on WNY Athletics YouTube page. Subscribe. Thanks.
Sweet.
Moving on. Class B2 semifinals. The B1, B2 finals coming up, but B2 semifinals. Your thoughts there?
So the B2 semifinals happened last night, and one game really, really delivered. One game did not. Olmsted, Medina was the first game. That was the game that didn't deliver so much. Medina missing their coach, Justin Morgan. He had to have shoulder surgery, couldn't be there with the team last night. Certainly not trying to suggest that the head coach's presence make up the point differential in that game. I don't think it would have. Olmsted, they came out and just they were clearly the better team in that game, and they deserved to win their title and advance to that crossover game. Takari McCrae and Jaden Wood, what a duo they were last night for the team. McCrae shines again in a victory, and
you've been singing their
it ends the
praises
season
since
of
the
Medina.
beginning. You've
Yeah,
been talking
they've been-
Olmsted up, so
yeah, they a finalist last year and a champion this year. Lost to Akron in the finals last year. This year they get over the hump, knock off Medina, and they're the champ. And the second game was a game I've looked forward to all year. You looked at the B2 bracket.
got some.
Yeah, here's some highlights coming up.
Were you expecting it to be?
That's
this
Deron
low
Williams'
scoring?
big three-pointer in the fourth quarter.
Playing in Dodge Gym, by the way, right?
That's a left-handed finish from Brody Hill.
Huh?
Crazy house.
Yeah.
Here we got Javon Funderburk grabbing it in transition, ripping, trying to finish at the rim, but Darren Breck says no. Here's Deron Williams again, kicking it to the corner in transition to Funderburk. Bangs a three from the corner. Javon Funderburk.
I'm glad he got the bus date.
Brody Hill sends it off to Jackson Pragle, dumps it into the post to Darren Brooks, but the block from behind from Javon Funderburk. There's Deron Williams' big floater in the paint. Ben Gerstong getting to the lane. The bucket and one.
Is that Tim Seil and Michael Bryan on the game?
No, that was John Scora with that call there.
Everybody thought this was a three-pointer.
Everybody thought that was a three-pointer. The Tapestry crowd was chanting that it was a three-pointer. Instead, Williams goes glass for two, but it was a critical bucket because that was the go-ahead. They were tied at 40 when that shot went off. I believe there was 40 seconds left. Williams hits that shot, gives them the lead. Akron comes back down, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Tapestry then gets the ball back in the hands of Akron with 4 seconds left. You just saw how it ended. They missed a heave at the buzzer. The celebration was on. That game, if the Manhattan Cup was the best game I've seen this year, that game was 1A. It was a thriller. And talked to one of my friends, John, on the way home just to get, to see
His
if he
perspective.
looked at it the same way I did. And he did, and it was a low-scoring game, 42 to 41. But it was such a competitive, hard-fought battle all the way through. You did not the lack of points was a non-issue to me.
Watching on
What a
my
game.
phone because I was at Buff State last night, so I had that up on my phone. Couldn't take my eyes off it. I mean, I was supposed to be paying more attention to the Lakeshore Star Point game, which was a good game.
Yeah,
But I could not take my eyes off this Tapestry Akron game.
riveting. It was a
was.
riveting basketball
was.
game. Both teams left it all on the floor. Tapestry has been my number one small school all year. I believed in them. In the preseason, I picked Akron to win the Class B2.
Okay.
And then I got to look at Tapestry. And once I saw Tapestry one time, I said, these guys are really good.
It happens.
And as the season wore on, I quickly had Tapestry sitting as my number one small school. I picked them as the champion going into these playoffs. And I will say there's not a lot of people that join me in that party.
The big thing from I'm sorry.
No, I just want to say that I would be asked, like I always am. Everyone always, what do you think? How do you think this one's going to go? And lots of conversations, pregame in the car when I'm driving, people call me, whatever. And it was, I would say that I thought Tapestry was going to win the game against Akron. And everyone looked at me cross-eyed like, really? Like as if they hadn't read for a season that I had Tapestry as my number one small school and somehow that I was not meaning what I said when I did that or whatever. And then the follow-up question would always be, well, who do they have? Which tells me that you hadn't seen, if you're really you think Tapestry, well, why? Who do they have? But this speaks to why Tapestry was so good, is that they maybe don't have that, if you're a casual basketball fan, they don't have that name that you're putting
Right.
in the elites of the elite.
You should
right?
know
Like,
Funderburk.
you should know Funderburk, you should know Coleman, you should know Jay Sean Rogers, you should know Derek Triplett. How about Aaron Bell? But that's how I would reply to people, is it's Tapestry is not about that one guy.
Yeah.
They are a team. They are a team that throws a wave of talent at you. Jeffrey Worthy, Gordon Dean, Jared Sadler, Ron Williams. They have dudes, and those dudes played like a team all year. You show up every game I go to, I have my notes laid out, whatever. Teams tend to start the same players all year, and you get used to that. You can set your watch to it like I could with Akron starters. With Tapestries, I never knew who was starting the game. It always changed. There was always one tweak. Last night it was Gordon Dean got the start for Coach Esther. You just never knew what 5 guys were going to be in that starting lineup, but it didn't matter because everybody was playing. Different people would contribute on different nights, and credit to that team. And now Tapestry advances to the crossover game in Class B, which will be played on Sunday at Buff State. That's a 4 o'clock game. I'll probably be rolling in late because coming from the state championship game with Canisius. But they're going to play Olmsted. It's a rematch of a game that was played earlier this year. And if memory serves me correct, it was a 50-47 win for Tapestry when they played the first time. So I think Buff State will be a nice scene for those two.
I got to ask you, we got to go back a couple nights earlier when it's a little surprise to me that Medina was able to get by Southwestern.
Okay.
Did you get down to that game at all? Did you watch that
No,
one at
that
all?
was the same night as the Manhattan Cup.
Okay, so you probably went and saw the film, I got to believe.
So what I saw was I watched Southwestern advance in the round before past
middle
Middle
early.
College, and I had seen enough Medina this year through live action streams. I thought it would be a good game. It was an interesting game, and to me, like, Medina and Southwestern were similar teams, and their ceiling was pretty good. But both of those teams had a floor. There was a little inconsistency within both programs and the results and which team's taking the court tonight and how's it's going to go. And Southwestern had a lead at halftime in that game, and Medina flipped it in the second half. So I wasn't surprised by the result, because when I saw the matchup, I thought this game could go all sorts of ways.
Yeah. Southwestern getting past Middle Early College. It wasn't a double-digit victory, but it was 8 or 9 points, whatever it was. But
It might have been. I mean, they had a
they had a game.
damn near 20-point lead.
That might have
I
been
think,
like their Super
if I
Bowl.
remember.
But they were, I know they were like, correct me if I'm wrong, 9, 10 seed.
They were the 9 seed. They were my sleeper as a 9 seed, but they were also the team that I picked to win Class B1 at the
a lot of
start of
people
the season.
saw
But
the
then 2 of their
transfers and-
starters never made it to the basketball court this year. Rain Fuller and Zach Markham did not play. Those would have been
But
2 starters.
I think once they accepted that it's us, like, we're not getting any more help here. I think then they refocused, because they were all out of sorts, if you will. We saw them, I think, at Dunkirk, Fredonia. They just didn't look like they were ready, and they were going to take a bit of time to come through. And I think they were expecting Zach for sure to come back. I didn't think they ever expected Fuller to come back, to be honest. But I thought they would get Zach Markham back at some point. And I think once they realized he wasn't coming back, the kids said, hey, guys, this is what we have, and we need to come together and start playing like a team. I wasn't surprised that they got by Riverside. The Middle Early College, though, that victory there, I think once they won that game, I honestly thought that they would make the run that we all thought they would make at the beginning of the season. So I was surprised to see them lose to Medina, even though you and I had seen Medina earlier in the year, I think, at Wilson.
Right.
They
I
look
think
good.
it might come down to like adversity versus consistency.
We saw Southwestern.
Have we faced adversity, but we keep getting better through that adversity, or are we just a program that's inconsistent and can't quite find our stride? I think Southwestern was probably more the latter.
Yeah.
They went through some adversity, but it was inconsistency that was really the plague.
against Medina.
Good team.
You got to give Medina a ton of credit there, but I think we saw a little bit of what we saw earlier in the year out of Southwestern. That inconsistency reared its ugly head a little bit, maybe. I'm going to go back and watch that Medina Southwestern game on Huddle. I'll go back and watch that, but
Frank's breaking film down. And
good
we're gonna
for them.
Get back to you on that.
Good
one.
for Medina, good for Southwestern. Those are some. I mean, they're Class C schools in football, so they've got history there. Those are two good programs.
a little
I like
history,
that. I like those two schools. And congratulations to Olmsted getting by Springville to make it. So yeah, we're going to see Olmsted in Tapestry.
We're
Sunday
going
at
to see
4.
Olmsted and Tapestry on Sunday. Be a good game.
Moving on. What are we moving on to? This is your show, bro. I'm just
We
talking.
could talk about the Class C semifinals that happened down at JCC.
We're going to have to talk about it eventually.
So I start with this.
What?
Avoiding it.
Well, I think we had.
All right. So I start this Instagram endeavor, right? And I don't like it. It's just more work and more nonsense. But here's what's fun about Instagram. You get to put music to your posts or your stuff. And so Wilson loses this game to Westfield, 40-30. And I'm sitting there ready to put the result on my Instagram story, and I'm like, what song represents what I'm thinking right now? And my friend had a great suggestion. Baby, what a big surprise by Chicago. It's what it was. Like, wow. I sat there for an hour and a half and watched that game, and I will, full disclosure, I walked into JCC that day saying, I don't think we're going to have two super competitive games, but I'm glad that I get to see Westfield and Ellicottville tonight.
Okay.
And I was wrong on both counts. I mean, the Wilson-Westfield game was competitive, but it was Westfield's game all the way through. The second game, Ellicottville made it very competitive with Global Concepts, especially at the end. So it was, what I did is I underestimated the Southern Tier teams that I was going to see. I realized just in reflection today that as this season has been so parity-driven and there is that we don't have that one true elite team, and these teams are all a lot closer to each other than we think. To go back and look at Westfield's season, and you see, who did Westfield lose to this year? I think they lost to Dunkirk. They lost twice to Clymer. They lost twice to Sherman. They had 9 losses on the season. One of their losses was a non-league loss to Global Concepts, who they'll have to play for the championship. So at the time when you're seeing these losses, you're like, oh, Westfield lost to Clymer and D, and your head tells you they couldn't be as good as this Wilson team that's cooking and 14-0, 15-0, and really looking the part early on in the season. And so at this point, I say maybe we undervalued how good our Class D was right along, or maybe I did, undervalued that. Maybe when I saw that Westfield lost to Clymer and Sherman twice, I wrote Westfield off, and I shouldn't have done that, because the game that I watched with Westfield and Wilson, as much as it was a big surprise, as much as I called it the upset of the year because everything on paper, it was walking in from everyone's theory on how that playoff was going to go. But what Westfield had was a big man, Grant Beadle, who was tremendous in that game and who largely neutralized any layups, any scoring in the middle from Wilson. They threw a box on Aiden Newman, and they ran it brilliantly. Tua and Swanson were so good defensively, holding him in check, and Wilson needed to get buckets someplace else, and they struggled to do it. They really struggled from the field that night. I think that they were something insane, like 11 of 61 from the field in the game. They were 2 of 29 from three-point land. That's not going to win you games. And conversely, the thing that, to give Westfield some more credit, was their guards were so good in that game just protecting the ball, because Wilson was a team that they really like to get out in transition and create offense through defense. and they weren't able to turn Westfield over and get those kind of opportunities and start playing downhill.
Yeah, I will start off by saying the job Dave McCann did with Ellicottville was sensational.
It sure
Well,
was.
I'll get to Wilson in
Oh, yeah.
West Michigan, but I want to give him some props. I talked to a guy down from the Ellicottville area, and I told him, I said, I think this is a David versus Goliath matchup with Global. Full disclosure, I think you guys are in for the fight of your lives. This is the game that you're gonna. This is David versus Goliath, and he said to me, "That isn't. JCC is just a different animal. Things happen down there that aren't unexplainable, but that gym kind of is where some teams go, and they just struggle. I think that's what happened to some of these teams. Just, he was right. I think Global didn't play their best game against Ellicottville, but you got to give Ellicottville credit for keeping it close. I don't think they ever had a real shot at winning the game, right? I don't think it would.
56-50 is your final.
Yeah.
And Ellicottville was they were not at the end of the game. What did Dave McCann say to me after the game? Ran out of time. And that's what he believed, and that was where the game was trending. Was they kept
The momentum was starting to shift.
so
I'll give you that.
Global Concepts brought the fight early, got a lead, and established themselves early on in the game, and I think the pace was a lot for Ellicottville to settle into, but they did. And once they did, it was a game. But it's tough when you're dealing with that kind of athleticism, and Ellicottville is all underclassmen. I mean, that team is back in force next year.
So, similar game to the game at Westfield I saw earlier in the year with Global. Global ran on Westfield pretty good in the first half. Coaching makes some moves in the second half to neutralize some of Global's shooters. I mean, they've got a fantastic point guard, good big man, but Westfield, I think they may have outplayed Global in that second half. They definitely learned a lot about what they can do defensively to kind of neutralize Global, and maybe Ellicottville saw that game film and maybe changed things up. We'll have to wait and see, but I'll tell you, this next round between Global and Westfield, I think that game's going to be a lot closer than the first game we saw.
I hope so. I'll be there, and then we also get a Clymer-Sherman game.
You do.
Right after, which will be a scene in Jamestown Community College.
So that Westfield-Wilson game, 40-30 was the final? Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Westfield, I think they took that game plan that they had against Westfield and threw it at Wilson. And again, just being down at JCC.
Westfield took the game plan they had against Global and threw it at Wilson.
Yes, Westfield took the game plan from Global and applied it to their Wilson game, perhaps.
Well, their game plan against Wilson was very clearly anybody but Aiden Newman's going to beat us.
Yes.
And we'll have a box zone inside, and we'll have Beetle waiting there to deny anything at the rim.
Good for Beetle, too. Good for Beetle.
Beetle was tremendous. He's had a great season. Got a good case to be the chairman of the boards.
Well, that's for you to decide. Good job, though. Hats off to Westfield and Global. I think we had an idea Global was going to get there, right? You had been talking about them all year.
Did. Like, when I finally laid eyes on Global, I thought, I think Global might be better than Wilson, and I've had Wilson ranked ahead of them all year. And I thought, Wilson's been a really good team, too. They hadn't really done anything for me to make that change, so I did, and I left Wilson ahead of Global. And I, kind of quietly thought all year my top four small schools were Tapestry, Wilson, Akron, Global, and two were from one league, two were from the other. And I was like, we're going to find out at the end of the year. And so we don't actually get that Wilson Global game, but what we found out is by default, Global the better team, and Tapestry by a hair over Akron, and an epic one.
Let's go into our D's before we go to a commercial break, and then we'll come back with A's and double A's, triple A's, whatever.
The D's?
The D's, baby.
So what I can't give you much on the D's other than to say I casually watched the stream of the Sherman win over Forestville, because it was the same night as the Manhattan Cup. So I wasn't there to see it. I know, heard that the Climber win over Panama was a clunkier game to watch, and then Sherman took a 17-7 lead on Forestville after one quarter, played with a lead most of the way. Forestville rallied a little bit in the fourth quarter, and then Sherman closed it out. Nice dunk by Jacob Ferranto at the end. Excited to see him in person because I can tell you just from watching film, Ferranto looks like a player.
So when's the Global Westville game? Is that Saturday night at JCC?
Saturday night, JCC.
Yeah.
It's actually Saturday afternoon. So I think it's a 4 and 6 affair.
Yeah,
4
yeah,
p.m.
it's
for the
that
Class
one,
C game and 6 o'clock for the
We'll be
B game.
watching. We'll be watching on TV for sure.
I had a lot of people have to message me and say, I think the game starts at this time, or I think you've got that. I apologize to everybody for any inaccuracies I have had on a game time here and there. It's been a schedule to get used to this year with a major change, and then just for an extra good kick on the side to all this, they started changing the B2s are playing after the B1s, and the Ds are playing after the Cs, and everything that ever sat in your brain about how it all has been undone, and a lot to get used to.
So Irv King's going to hang him up at the end of the season.
After his season ends, yes. It could be Saturday. It could be in a regional. It could be after a state championship. We'll find out.
So they've played Sherman, twice?
Yeah, they
And
split.
lost both times, or they split?
Oh, they split.
They did split?
Yeah. They were co-league champs. They split in the regular season.
What are you expecting to see then Saturday night? Same thing?
Yeah, I mean Sherman and Clymer. It's been a Southern Tier Class D rivalry since I've been watching high school basketball. I'm just excited to see it live in a championship setting. You know, the place will be mobbed. The track above, it'll be standing room only up there. I'm just looking forward to it. This is why I do what I do, to get to these games and have this atmosphere.
Okay, let's take a quick break. Let's hear from Tony Palrenti and Empire Electric and our other advertisers. Don't forget, though, our banquet is coming up on March 24th. Chad will have all the Centercourt players. He'll have the Player of the Year, our top 15, I believe we're going with, and a few other awards. But on your screen, you can see how you can order tickets. Until March 11th, you can get the early bird special, $35 to get in. Sal Capaccio is going to be the MC. It's down at Riverworks. We'll open that door at 6 o'clock. Food will be out by 6:30, and we'll have a good time. We're gonna have a good night. Awards, your individual winners, we should be notifying you soon. We just announced all the hockey winners. That email's going out. So basketball is on the 24th. Thanks to Tops Markets. They stepped up today, and they're going to sponsor some of those awards. So thanks for Tops. If you want to advertise, help us out with that event, you know where to do that. Just get a hold of us, and you'll make your way into the history books, because this is going to be our first basketball banquet and hopefully not the last. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
At Richmond Vona, we are seriously dedicated to bettering the communities that we serve. If you put your trust in us and hire us, we promise to take care of everything. Call us as soon as possible so we can start the investigation to fight to get you the settlement you deserve.
Build your next connection. Earn your next internship. Crush your next goal. What will you do next?
Need an electrician? Empire Electric is your residential wiring specialist. New builds, service upgrades, lighting, generators, you name it, Empire does it with hundreds of 5-star reviews that speak for themselves. Call Empire Electric today for your free estimate.
I am told we are back on air. Tonight we are at Buff State again. We've got 3.
Triple header.
Yeah. There's only 3 games there tonight, right, Tim? Not 4?
It's only 3. Right. Triple header. No girls.
Okay.
All boys championships tonight.
A1, A2, AA, right? In that order? Maybe?
In that order, because why would A2 play before A1?
Why would they?
I mean, I'm trying to understand why they didn't just make AA play first. Why don't we just go AA, then A1, then A2?
And that's a 5 o'clock start for Grand Island, Newport.
That's correct.
I was under the impression it was 4:30. Thank you for making it at 5.
Should make it better for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us some time to get down there. Grand Island gets by Will South, and Newport gets through South Park.
Yes.
To reach the A1 finals. So Grand Island 20-2, very impressive record. Going up against another NFL foe in Newport.
Game that's been played twice this year. Both have gone the way of the Vikings. First game was a bit more competitive, maybe a 14-15 point win for Grand Island. The second one, Newport took it on the chin pretty good, and I was there for it. We actually made that a Centercourt game of the week. So
what was
makes
it
tonight interesting?
What was it about Grand Island that?
So I think that Grand Island is a tough matchup for Newport. I do, and I'll say that I will be happy for either one of these teams tonight that wins the championship, because what a story it would be to have Newport that looks like the ragtag Hoosier bunch, without a lot of depth and not a lot of size, and man, they are gritty and they're a fun team to watch. And
no quitting those kids.
No quit. And then there's Grand Island, who has had a real nice team for a couple years now and came up just short last year in their bid for a championship, and back this year, another excellent season. And when you just go through their roster 1 through 5, they've got 5 good basketball players on that roster, and then they got a couple subs coming in the game too. Ryan Mayer and Blake DiLaurento. It's a good basketball team. So why do I think they're a tough matchup for Newport? They've got size. Dane Brown is a real matchup problem. It's tough to block a shot. It's tough to alter a shot because he gets up, shoots at that high release point. Grand Island runs a flex offense, and they run it very well, and that allows the ball to stay in motion, and it's not, even though Dane Brown's their guy, they're not just exclusively running anything for Dane Brown. They're just running offense, and everybody on that court can score within that offense and contribute. And then the way that they defend, Grand Island's an excellent man basketball team, and they were really good at switching everything when they played Newport in the first round. And to me, that would be the recipe to get Newport, would be if you can effectively switch everything and stay with those shooters and not give them space. That makes it a tough matchup. But I'm interested to see. I don't think it's going to be a 30-point game tonight. I think we got a championship game coming, and I think Newport will do something to narrow that gap, and I'm interested to see what they can do about it. But I got a lot of confidence in Pat Krausick to put a game plan together and to get his kids as motivated as they can be to play this game, and it's going to be a tall order because, as I just said, I think a lot of this Grand Island team.
Tough to beat a team 3 times in a season.
That's what they say.
Yeah, I don't.
I've never tried.
Very interested in that one, but also very interested in Game 2. Fredonia and Olean.
Yeah. So another one where Fredonia has, as you just pointed out, the unenviable task of trying to beat a team 3 times. And these guys are league rivals for years. There's, an Olean Fredonia game has always been, you go back 10 years ago to this season, a decade ago from this season, it was Olean beat Fredonia 3 times that year and went off and won a state championship as undefeated state champions. But Fredonia was probably the second best team in all of the Class B in the state that year. And they were led by Pat Moore, who is now an assistant coach at Nichols. So 10 years later, we've got Fredonia and Olean playing again in a Section 6 championship game. The last time it was a crossover 10 years ago. This is for a Section 6 championship. Olean, I think, has only gotten better as the season has gone on. They have some seniors. They're pretty much a senior lineup with Dominic Myers, who is, I think, a freshman, and giving them some good minutes, but mostly seniors. And the same for Fredonia. And this is the thing, like, with Fredonia, what is your game plan? You can't really take one player out of the game. Koopman, Dowdy, Luce, Ryan Kelly played really good, and then you've got Graham Putney shooting threes for that team. And if he gets hot at any moment, you don't ever want to leave a Putney on the perimeter. I think it's a really good basketball game. I think it's really interesting to see what Olean tries to do differently than they've done in the first 2 games. I think that second game is better than the first game. I think it's ultra competitive tonight.
We talked on this show a while ago about Olean and how they were out of it from a division standpoint, but we hadn't talked a little bit about this isn't a team you may want to face. This might not be the team you want to face in the playoffs. And as a 7th seed coming in, they've got some big wins. That Maryville 1-point win over Maryville to get here. Is part of the stepping stone to get here. Then they took care of East Aurora, a 3 seed. This is, to me, this game here, Fredonia and Olean tonight, is the best game of the week.
So
outside of Joe's Canisius, I think this is the best public school basketball game that we're going to see is this one right here tonight.
So my buddy Big Dan likes to ask me questions about what I think of this or that, and one of his questions was, "What game do you think has the best chance of going to overtime this week?" and this was actually the one that I thought you could see that being an occurrence. Little stat to sugar into everything we're talking about: Fredonia and Dunkirk are co-league champs. Dunkirk beat Fredonia twice this year, but they were still co-league champs because Dunkirk picked up 2 league losses. Do you know who those were 2? Yes, you do. Olean. So there it is. Olean beats Dunkirk twice. Dunkirk beats Fredonia twice. Fredonia beats Olean twice. And that was the state of CCAA 1 this year.
Looking forward to that game.
As am I.
So good luck to those teams tonight. And let's move on.
Let's do it. Let's move on.
There is another game being played.
It's the big double A's.
Orchard Park and North Tonawanda. North Tonawanda is just a scrappy, tough, no-quit team and program. They have been like that for as long as WNY Athletics has been doing this. North Tonawanda has always been a team that has been a tough out, down to the wire. And Orchard Park and NT tonight is going to be another, I think, instant classic.
Well, it was Eric O'Brien in the early days, and then it was Ryan Mountain, and now it's Chris Juergens, and the identity largely remains NT Tough. I think what we've learned about the playoffs this year is that the Niagara Frontier League was the best public school league in Western New York. That's what the playoffs taught us. You look at Buff State and you say, who was at Buff State? Ken West got there, Grand Island got there, Newport got there, NT is there. So there's 4 teams from that league that showed up at Buff State, and then 2 of them got eliminated by fellow NFL teams to not get there. Lockport losing
Ken West.
to Ken West. Ken East losing to Lew-Port. I think that this game is better than people think it's going to be, because I think that the NFL is better than people realized all season. And North Tonawanda, let's remember, is the only team from Section 6 in Western New York this year to have a win over Grand Island. So to be good enough to beat Grand Island is really saying something. Grand Island beat Will North beat Orchard Park. We're all swimming in the same ponds.
Would Niagara Falls playing in an NFL schedule helped these teams at all? I don't think it would have helped Niagara Falls, but would that have helped any of these NFL teams get ready for a deep playoff run if they would? If Orchard Park goes down tonight, would having played Niagara Falls gotten the NFL ready for, say, Section 5 and beyond?
If Orchard Park goes down tonight,
Just a total hypothetical here. Niagara Falls not being in NFL hurt those other teams at all. I know them being in the NFL wouldn't help them.
I don't think it hurt the other teams.
Okay.
Would it have helped the other teams?
Get ready for
Yeah.
games like tonight.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, if Niagara Falls was in the NFL, Grand Island would have had a game against them, maybe 2, depending on how they set it up. Maybe Lockport would have got a run with them or 2. Ken West, that could have given them a different look at something, so it could have helped. But
They could have scheduled them.
I might push back a little bit when you said I don't think that Niagara Falls not being in the league. I think Niagara Falls might have benefited from being in the NFL this year. I think it was a good league, and I think that maybe the taxing travel and cancellations and scrambling to find a game after we lost our trip to Albany or whatever, Niagara Falls had a long stretch of no games this year, and the league would provide that consistency. And I understood why Niagara Falls made that move to go independent and what they were chasing, but I think that what we see right now, and Niagara Falls being out of the playoffs, Jamestown beating them, is Niagara Falls they're easily a top 10 program. I've stood by that all year, and they should be. I don't care what their record is. But when we're saying we don't have that one elite team in the area this year, if we don't have an elite team, then we don't really have a team that needs to play that independent schedule the way that Falls was. So I would like to see Falls come back to the NFL next year.
What challenges does Orchard Park present for North Tonawanda tonight?
Orchard Park presents the challenge of having a lot of guys that can hurt you. Balance across the board, depth, size, everything. Orchard Park is a really well put together basketball team.
Sure.
They've got a point guard. They've got Brody Monaco, who can bang inside. Not a huge guy, but plays much bigger than he is. Finn Taberski and Justice Niver, who are long, lengthy guys that can play on the perimeter. They can score inside. Weston Cummings is that gritty glue guy that just does all the little things for that team. There's even more size sitting on the bench at Orchard Park.
Is there a team that could have gotten NT ready for Orchard Park tonight throughout the season? I don't know if that McKinley team.
I think the team that has best prepared North Tonawanda for what they're walking into tonight was 2 games against Grand Island.
Okay.
Because Grand Island is not unlike what
big.
I'm describing. Yeah, they've got some length. They play good defense. They've got 5 guys on the floor that, I use the word liability a lot. Like in high school basketball, sometimes it's just we need if we have 3 good players, 2 guys. Like to me, when I think of a liability player on the court, it's someone who gets the ball and wants to get the ball back out of their hands. They don't want to have to put the ball on the floor. They are looking to give it back up to someone who can create and do more. When I look at an Orchard Park or a Grand Island, they've got everybody on the floor is not afraid to have that ball in their hand. They're not afraid to make a move, to score. That makes sense.
Yep.
You know, Tapestry would be another example of that.
Let's move on. AAA. It's a Friday night game between Health Sciences and Jamestown. We know how these teams got there. Health Sciences took care of business. Lancaster. Jamestown survives Niagara Falls and beat them by double digits. So they're here. Jamestown 17-4. Health Sciences has 2 losses for sure.
Yeah.
3? 2?
Maybe 2. I know they lost to Niagara Falls at the beginning of the year. They lost to Nichols at the end of the year, so probably just 2.
Okay.
Yeah, they had little resistance from Lancaster getting to the championship game, so they're there, and now they're taking on Jamestown. Jamestown is 2 years in a row to Glens Falls or to the States, the state Final Four. They did it in AA. They did it in AAA. They play great basketball in March. They have the more recent win over Health Sciences when they played at Buff State. They've got a dynamic duo in Gonzalez and Farmer, as Health Sciences has, and Amir Moy and Naz Young. I think on paper and just looking at the teams, you would say that a little more of a balanced squad goes to Health Sciences, but Gavin Johnson's been playing some great basketball this year. Carson Milne has only gotten better as the season's gone along. Jericho Thagard is very seasoned. Billy Miley is a big game coach. He's been fantastic since taking over for Ben Drake. Can't wait for that game. That could be game of the year, part 3.
I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I'll have to watch the one on NFHS. Won't be around for that, but that's going to be a good game to watch either way because you just don't know. You can't say for sure Health Sciences is going to win this game.
Producer Tim's trying to reach over with a can and give me the hook.
Are you? He doesn't have a hook. He's got.
What's 2?
2 losses.
Oh, 2 losses.
Oh,
I
right.
thought you were saying 2 minutes.
back
You
to
got
health.
2 minutes to wrap this
We
up.
can do that too, but
I misunderstood.
No. So we went through everything basically. Are you any closer to getting down to the top 15? Your player of the year, things of that nature. Where do you stand on that? You don't have to mention any names.
I'll be honest with you. Someone asked me, Matt Bradshaw asked me today, are you enjoying the playoff this year? And I am. I'm out watching. It's been such a change in schedule, and it's been such a, okay, tonight I'm at Buff State. Tomorrow I'm at Fredonia. I got to get to Jamestown. Then I'm back at Fredonia. Then it's Buff State. And there just hasn't been any days off. It was 13 days in a row of this.
Yes.
And for the, where I live and the extra mileage that I have to, and there's the violin he's playing for me. I think I've just almost been in a hamster wheel of high school playoff basketball. I'm happiest when I'm actually in the gym watching the games. Everything else is, it's tough to wrap my head around all the other stuff because you're getting home late at night and you're coming in and unpacking and trying to set an alarm and make sure you got what you need for the next day, and social media stuff you got to tie up and update your schedule and your brackets on your. It leaves you no time to just think about stuff.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been sleeping as great, and I kind of realized, well, it's because what you're doing is instead of your normal routine of you come home and you sit down, you just leave the phone and you pull up, you stream something, you just watch something, and you just kind of veg out for the night, watch it. I haven't been doing that. And when I wake up in the morning, instead of waking up and watching the morning news and getting on with my day, I haven't been doing that. What have I been doing? My nights end with me staring at my phone. I wake up and I've got 4 text messages and I'm right back into it. So my brain has not been able to shut off, but it also isn't forming clear thoughts.
I do know one of our award winners. The officials have nominated official of the year, so.
Oh, yeah.
You want to guess? Take a stab. Name 3 officials. I'll let you know. You want to play that game or no?
Sure.
One official
Sure.
has been nominated by the group.
Okay.
I was wondering if you can guess who that was.
Who they're saying this is our official of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. I could tell you he was definitely on a game you and I were at together.
I mean, it's probably not one of the Const brothers, Justin or Jeremy,
No.
because they're young, and I would think that they'd say, well, they got plenty of time to win this award. What about Kelly Funderburk?
No, didn't make it. I thought it would be cool, but no.
What you got?
Make it. Initials TF.
Yeah.
Rhymes with Rod.
Oh, great pick.
Yeah.
Great pick. Absolutely. If he's not a top 5 official in Western New York,
Yes.
then I don't know what I'm
Todd
watching.
Pettis.
He's good.
You come on down. You've been chosen. So yeah, he does a good job.
Todd does.
He does a good job. Doesn't put up with any crap. Laughs. Has a good smile on his face.
Hustles.
Yeah,
Always.
hustles,
His mechanics
yes.
are
In
second to
position.
none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blocks out the noise. There's so many good officials. There's a lot of good officials. I know they take a beating from some coaches, and the fans are horrific.
Yeah. Todd's a terrific administrator of
But
the
he's
game.
good.
He does a good job of letting the coaches feel like they've been heard when they,
Yeah.
he hears them, he responds to them, but he is not letting them dictate the game to him at all.
I don't know where he is tonight.
don't
But I
know
hope
where
he's
is
on
he?
a game
Oh, he's probably at Buff State. We got, you're going to have 9 officials at Buff State tonight between 3 games. I would guess he's probably one of them.
Yeah, I haven't really officially met him and had a conversation with him yet, but I do know who
He's
he is.
he's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not real social. He probably won't want to talk to you. I'm kidding. Super nice guy.
Yeah, but another great night of basketball. Season's coming to an end. We'll be here. I think next Thursday we're going to try and do the show. We won't be able to do it on Friday, but perhaps
Week
next
from today,
Thursday.
then.
Maybe even
Thursday
Wednesday.
now.
Maybe even Wednesday. What happened to our Wednesday show? We used to do it on Wednesdays.
I don't know.
We moved it for some reasons, but thank you for doing this. Thank you to Tony Pulvereni for sponsoring Centercourt Weekly Show. Tim, you do a great job with the graphics, getting them up for us. And
Thank you to the fans and
Thanks for the
coaches and
people
players
watching.
or whoever decides to tune in and watch this show. Hopefully someone does.
YouTube, subscribe to the WNY Athletics YouTube page. Tell your friends at home to do that.
Follow me on
State.
Instagram.
What is your Instagram?
Centercourt 42.
Am I following? I'm not following you yet.
Probably not.
I haven't been on Instagram in a couple of weeks.
It's mostly just
I get
selfies
stupid
for me.
suggestions.
I take
I'm
a lot
afraid
of
to open
selfies and
it.
put them on Instagram.
I'm afraid to open it sometimes. It's always somebody getting, like a video of somebody getting murdered on Instagram.
Oh, well, then that's what your
That's why I don't.
that's what your
open-
biorhythm has decided you want to watch.
Some
Frank.
idiot
Nice
sends
work.
me my brother sent me a film of some guy getting whacked in Mexico, brutal murder. I'm like, what makes you think I want to see this disgusting act? So now I get these stupid.
So now Meta's figured out that that's what you want to watch.
Yeah, I guess I like watching murders on TV. It's disgusting.
Good work, Frank.
Anyways,
Degenerate.
Looking forward to the basketball action tonight. Everybody safe travels to Buff State or wherever you're going. There are games at JCC tonight too. And Fredonia. You're going to Fredonia? Let's get you out of here, dude. God bless you. We'll see you at Buff State, Fredonia, or JCC over the next few hours. Yeah, go to Fred's. Go to Fred's in Fredonia, the White Inn.
Dig.
Do it.
I'm going to Curry's tomorrow.
I won't. I'll be heading to Turning Stone.
Okay, I'll see you all tonight at Buff State for 3 more bangers and another banger tomorrow night. And then Saturday I'll be down at Jamestown Community College for 2 finals. And maybe I'll get there early and see what all the hype about Frewsburg girls is, because I heard they're the real deal.
They are.
And Sunday, 2 state championship games, 2 crossover games at Buff State. And then Monday I can finally breathe. Except I got to drive to Oshawa.
Really?
Or, no, not Oshawa. Where is it? It's, what's the place close by in Canada that sounds like Oshawa? It's not Oshawa.
I think it's Oshawa.
No, I can't.
Ottawa?
No, it's not Ottawa. Maybe it is
What the
Oshawa.
hell are you going there for?
Maybe it is Oshawa. Concert?
Oh,
It's like a couple hours into Canada.
okay.
Like my 2 favorite bands actually playing on the same night together.
Oof.
I think, yeah.
Same venue?
Same venue.
Huh.
One opens for the other. I couldn't believe it. My wife and children actually were trying to get me to miss a night of Buff State to go to the concert, and then they said, and I wouldn't do it, and so they're like, Chad, it's your 2 favorite bands are playing on the same night. So then they searched and found where they were playing at a different venue, because they were playing in Hamilton tonight, actually. They're playing in Hamilton tonight, but on Monday, Live and Big Rock. Big Rock opens for Live.
Okay.
Remember Live from the
Live,
90s?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, they got a lot of good albums. Everyone knows about The Distance to Here, but
Yeah.
they've got multiple albums. Good music. That's what I listen to when I'm driving around during basketball season. I listen to a little more Big Wreck in
Live
the
and Big
summertime. Big Wreck is a Canadian band. If you've not heard of Big Wreck, check them out. Check out Live.
Okay.
Pain Lies on the Riverside was the song I put to my first Instagram post.
Food for thought.
Yeah.
Random smatterings from Chad.
The
Great job in the magazine.
The nonsense that the hangers-oners got to take in. At the end
Don't
of the
forget-
show.
Make sure you have a schooner in Oshawa.
Open up our website.
Am I really going to Oshawa? Is that where this
Check out our magazine, WNY Athletics. If you want to be a part of that magazine, you can advertise in it for as low as $25 a magazine. Give us a call. Support local high school sports. There was some posts yesterday about we need to do this, and we're going to start this, and we need to get more coverage. You people have any idea how much money it costs to do this? You need about, and I'm not even.
Yeah, but think about all the money we make, Frank.
Yeah.
Tell them about
You
that.
want they're
Somehow
giving
our
the Buffalo
pockets are
News
getting fatter through high school
a hard
sports.
time about this, that, and the other. It costs. I'm going to tell you, it probably costs $15,000 to $20,000 a month
Cost you
to
your marriage
get the
if
high
you're
school
not
sports
careful.
coverage that you people want. $15,000 to $20,000 a month. I've got all the people willing to do it. You want to find me sponsors? $15,000 to $20,000 a month is what it's going to cost.
I miss my family. I say that. I haven't seen them.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
WNY Athletics. God bless you. Have a good night. Safe travels.
Thanks for watching.